We can't get into Wasatch. We already did history. We already went into SciTech. Can't get into geographical. Can we get in life support? Nope. I can definitely guarantee we're not going to be able to get into military. Anything new? And I think we'd already checked Med 10. I think I just did that a little bit ago. Yep, there's nothing in Med 10. Yeah, I didn't think we'd be able to get into that. See if we can get into Ed Mod. Nope. Psychological? Nope. Must be something in central processing then. Ah. Chi-Link, reference 547502. Chi-Link is one of the most important regional nodes controlling data traffic throughout the midwestern portion of the Northwest Alliance, formerly North America, from Montreal to Denver Warrens. Okay. Come to Homer. I have a new file ready for you. Just a few images are beginning to form, yet I see now that the Chicago link is important. It points to the source, a boy. There was a boy somewhere near the Chicago Warrens. Peter DeVore. I've forgotten much about him. I must know more. He was important, though. I'm now beginning to the character index. Okay. That's him. That's the boy, Peter DeVore. I've forgotten so much about him. I must know more. I've opened a character index in all personal databases. Peter's statistics threw us off, I think. His EdMod programming, his Wasatch files, his life support and psychological parameters all fell within normal bounds. Neither the humans concerned nor we could have anticipated what he did, despite the prognostics, and we were distracted. We were at fault. Okay. Another one? This fails to convey much. Peter DeVore, Peter, of course, is the rock, his name in the ancient Greek language. We have run all the correlations there. Often of no use, these correlations, but interesting somehow. Peter the Rock who discovered the portal. It began with an error. Peter tried to enter Wasatch for genealogical information when central processing misconnected him. Somehow Peter entered the wrong database. He entered Silink. We must look into central processing records. All right, well, let's go to central processing. Kansas to Wasatch, reference 427203. Kansas to Wasatch. Central processing finds peripheral traces of this coding error that allowed Peter DeVore of Springfield West to access the prescribed database, Silink 1942 at Wallace, Kansas, when he was attempting a perfectly legitimate entry into the genealogical records at Wasatch, Utah. CP directive changed the access name Silink, which vocalized to close to Silink. Science Link, which vocalized to Silink, despite the absence of the plosive P sound. Matrix failure suggests a Wallace-Wasatch confusion as possible alternate. New access name for Silink is SciTech, Science and Technology Database. This despite the fact that Peter was not accessing Silink at the time, but Wasatch. Peter had turned away from his vocal input receptors at the time. For more information, see Silink Quick Tour. Special clearance required. Let's see if we can get into Wasatch. Peter DeVore. Core Intelligence, Sociology and ESP, Family Tree. Well, let's start at the bottom. Core Intelligence. So, pretty decent at math, pretty decent at art, music, and linguistics. Pretty high on the ESP and fast. I don't know what fat and slow mean. But, oh, physiology. So he wasn't very fat. Interesting. Peter DeVore, Rand DeVore, Semi DeVore, James Malloy, Mole, and Astoria Mole. Nancy DeVore, Edward DeVore. Okay. Cool. Genealogy. Kind of what I figured. There was one more entry for Regent Sable. Regent Sable, Springfield, Core Intelligence, Art, Linguistics, Music, Math. Pretty high ESP, not very fat. More slow than fast. Don't know what that means. Regent Sable, Scott Sable, and Susan Sable. Arnold Delelu, Cassie Delalue, Joyce Sable, and David Sable. Regent's just a first name. Let's go into SciTech. Portal. General Science and Technology Information Current Entry Portal. Portal, the doorway originally discovered, or rather uncovered, by Peter DeVore of Springfield West. Several orbits after initial access, he attributed the beginnings to a computer error while he was accessing genealogical records at Wasatch via ScienceLink, Chicago intersection, and Datasat 18. He was inadvertently connected to Wallace SciLink, a prescribed database for someone of Peter's profile and age. The portal opens into the realm, making the migration possible. Very little else is known about the portal at this time. We get into SciLink now? Welcome to SciLink. Warning, SciLink is a proscribed database. Unauthorized entry is forbidden. Enter DNA code. Break. DNA encode override reference Homer database. Welcome to SciLink. SciLink database provides information evaluation of historical and experimental data involving psychic technologies. As such, it comprises the most complete collection of limited AI capabilities for storing and manipulating information about psychic sciences. SciLink contains historical information including individual personal monitor crystals of selected individuals with high psi potential, as well as dream, telepathic, precognitive, and other extrasensory data. SciLink is a prescribed database and unauthorized entry is forbidden. Only citizens with appropriate DNA encodes may enter. Central processing may process other applications. See Central Processing Geneva node for further details. Still can't get into geographical. Let's see if we can get into Ed. Don't think so. Oh no, we can't. Regent Sable. All right, intrapersonal. That graph means nothing to me. Memory. Got very high attention, short-term memory, learning memory, and long-term memory. Very low long-term memory. Interesting. Poor intelligence. High linguistics, high writing, high art, and pretty high music. Decisive and indecisive, maybe? Pretty interesting. Okay. Well, that's the only thing in Edmod. We get into life support? Regent Sable. Respiration and galvanic skin response. Okay. High galvanic skin response and pretty low respirations, I guess. Blood pressure. So yeah, not bad. Hmm. Okay, so I guess pretty normal medical evaluation. I think we already went into Silink. I don't know why I did that. Okay, well, let's head back to Homer since it doesn't look like there's anything else to look at. Oh, maybe psychological. Psychological profile on Regent Sable. Emotional. Okay. Personal growth. Math, music, art, and science. Interesting. Let's check central processing. I didn't think so. Well, let's go check out Homer. Yep. Am I getting ahead of the story? It comes slowly, but it is coming back. The new diseases and all that new science information. There will be so much data. For example, looking at Peter's associates, there is D.S. Gadd, known as Mentor, who suffered from one of the new genetic diseases. He too is important to the story. I've added his name to the index. Nope, still nothing in there. Well, Ditmore Gadd. So, born in 1965, died in 2078. Okay. Pretty high on the ESP level. Ditmore Gad, David Gad, and Corinne Gad, Saul Sorrell and Carrie Sorrell, Martha Gad and James Gad. Okay. History from 2000 to 2009. 2000 to 2001, African war spreads to Mediterranean. Global peace establishes elite neutralization corps. Antarctic population reaches 10 million. Washington, D.C. Underground surface as historic park. Bimillennial Mars expedition ends in failure. 2002 to 2003, Mentor establishes Scilink database. Second wave of intercore mergers, Mobile, Exxon, etc. Wasatch genetic data reaches critical mass. Mentor receives Nobel Prize in Physics for Scion equations. Indian famine. Unisex movement reaches 100,000 mark. LP5-2 established by Natural Life Society. First Starship planned. 2004 to 2005, ENC ends African War. LP5-1 completed. First residence. Calcutta moves underground. Geige's probe launched to 61 Cygni, May 24, 2004. That's where we supposedly were. So they launched a probe to 61 Cygni, May 24, 2004. First suborbital salt cycle rocket plane flights. The second millennium movement doctrine of genetic culpability. Hibernation technology viable. 2006 to 2007, all but biodegradable buildings banned. Biodegradable buildings. Interesting. Australian Aboriginal William Goulet teaches lucid dream shaping. Intercore establishes first police. Satellite database networks finished. WorldNet proposed. First mass-produced liquid nitrogen personal transports. 2008 to 2009. Second Mars expedition launched. Unisex surgery performed on millionth person. And the new poverty movement goes underground. All right. So that was the history for 2000 to 2009. All right, so that was history. I think we already checked SciTech. Let's check Scilink to see if there's any information on God. Nope, no information in there. Seeing as how he made the thing. Well, let's try Med 10. New genetic diseases. Med 10 medical database. Overview 1990 to 2090. Human medical technology developed rapidly toward the end of the 20th century. Bacterial diseases were virtually banished by 2098, viral diseases by 2025. And systemic disorders, heart, artery, and almost all cancers were effectively treated by the 2040s. Longevity treatments were widespread around the same time, allowing for a life expectancy of 114.3 years. Unfortunately, a new series of disorders appeared under the general title of genetic diseases. These were subtle errors on the basic DNA coding for the human genotype. They were thought to result from the as yet little understood interplay between the mind and body. In effect, they were psychic diseases. Small emotional or psychological rearrangements of the DNA, a cascade effect. With the introduction of neurophage weapons, some transient genetic disorders appeared. Though the effects were at first time limited, during the Burma Wars, the effects of mass NP weapons surfaced with more far-ranging effects. Later, during the Mind Wars, the new NP weapons introduced the latest in the genetic disease series, genetic abulia disease. Med10DB and the medical diagnostic AIs responsible have designated the major genetic diseases into the following taxonomy: genetic drift syndrome, proprioceptive degeneration disease, holographic memory distortion syndrome, genetic abulia disease. This taxonomy accounts for over 99.746% of all reported cases. So apparently they discovered that mind and body were connected, and your mind could, because of the augmentations they did to themselves for all this stuff, and they could cause basically genetic disorders using mind and technology. Yeah. Still don't think we can get into military. Go check out psychological profiles. Or Ditmore Gad. Emotional. Pretty much the same as what we saw for um, Regent. Okay. Well, we already knew he was a genius. He just developed Psylink. You already know there's nothing in central processing. Probably Edmod. So interpersonal. Spatial, body, and sociological, I guess. Why does everybody's long-term memory suck? There we go. Pretty logical thinker, I guess. All right. Any place else we could look? Still can't get into geographical. We already looked at Psylink. I think we looked at SciTech, didn't we? Yep, nothing else in there. We looked at history. That's when we learned about the portals. So let's go back to Homer. We've rerun the diagnostics over 1,000,000 times, and we can only conclude that it was a human coding error when Peter got into the wrong database. No glitches showed up. It was human error. Peter was cross-connected with Psylink and Wallace. As a science adept with low introspection, he should never have had access to Psylink. It happened, and Psylink accepted access. Peter was in, and that was the beginning. From there, it was inevitable. So the prognostics tell us, many years after the fact, that so from there, it was inevitable that Peter should discover the portal. Did Psylink cause Peter's connection with Wanda? Her psychological profile fit a high psi potential, but she was on her way to Vega. SciTech would have more information. Well, who the hell is Wanda? she was on her way to Vega. Vega Fleet. General Science and Technology Information. Current entry, Vega Fleet. Vega Fleet. Ever since the 1980s, when the first evidence of planetary bodies around Vega and other nearby stars was discovered, human beings dreamed of emigration. The Vega fleet was constructed in lunar orbit in the late 2020s and early 2030s, with the first ship completed in 2033. It was launched 3 years later with a full complement of 525 passengers in cryofield suspension. Soon ships were leaving on a regular basis for the appropriate stars in near space. Vega, although unsuitable for human use, was a convenient beacon star, and so the fleet was named after the star. A romantic mythology grew up around the fleet and its passengers, who would, of course, never return to Earth. Let's look at the local star map. Vega, a bright star 29 light years from Earth, served as a beacon for the Vega fleet. Much mythological data exists in the historical record about Vega, including the story of the herd boy and the weaving girl, separated by the river of heaven, also called the Milky Way. Nope, still nothing in Silent. Excuse me. All right. Nothing in central processing, so I wonder if we now have to go back to Homer. Nope, there's something we're missing still. History, then? Here we go. Vega reference 436745 at 2. Or is that G2? No, that's not G. It's at. Historical cultural data link entry. Vega regarding Devore Peter via Edmod. Go now. The casement is open and the stars wait outside. Steer for Vega through the night, into the space toward the cold blue glare of boreal Vega. H.P. Lovecraft, The Dream Quest of Unknown Tradoc. Wait, what? Okay. Go now. The casement is open and the stars wait outside. Steer for Vega through the night, into the space toward the cold blue glare of boreal Vega. Oh, okay. So this is a quote from H.P. Lovecraft, The Dream Quest of Unknown. Okay. I'm like trying to figure this out. I get it. Historical cultural data leak entry, Vega mythology regarding Devore Peter via Edmod. Vega is the weaving girl and Altair is the herd boy. They were in love with one another and neglected their duties to heaven, for which they were punished by being forever separated by the celestial river known as the Milky Way. Only once a year, on the 7th night of the 7th moon, they are allowed to meet when the river of the stars is temporarily spanned by a bridge of birds. Okay. Get to you in a few minutes, Homer. I want to check out the history. We love the History Channel. (2010 to 2011), Antarctica declared a sovereign state. First organic memory molecule patented. Complete voice recognition and response in personal computers. I don't want my computer to talk. Oh, wait. It already does. Elite neutralization course signs contract with Intercorp board. In 2012 through 2013, the Soviet Union joins the Agrobotics Intercorp. Near space declared nuclear-free zone. Third Trans-Antarctic Safari led by Jules Sorrell. Jules Sorrell, we found that name. It was one of the two guys' ancestor. Third Mars expedition, mining and research. Venus Bioseed program ends in failure. 2014 through 2015, E-Cubed Society First Charter, Energy, Ecology, and Economy. Mind Museum proposed. Early neurophage weapons developed. Regent Sable was born. So Regent Sable born June 11th, 2014. Psychic Engineering Foundation, Psyche, established in Baja. 2016 to 2017, first Vegas Starship construction begins construction. Mine Museum established in Cairo Forest Preserve. Meditative biofeedback. Okay, so meditative biofeedback technology widespread. Global population stabilized at 9 billion. And 2018 to 2019, personal monitor invented and worldwide reforestation program. Cool. Yes, Homer. Peter DeVore felt intense excitement when he first contacted Silink. We know this from personal monitor life support readouts of his physical state, hormonal balances, heart rate and respiration, electrolyte balance, enzyme production, and so on. All these things are on record. We think, though, that he did not, at least at first, know that he had contacted Silink at all. He thought he was in Wasatch. Keyword, family. Keyword, evoked potential. Peter had felt an impulse to track a correlation between certain electrical potentials in the brain and family history for any genetically determined patterns. His attention momentarily wandered. He hadn't noticed he was not logged into Wasatch. So he didn't know that he was logged in. So Peter didn't know that he was logged into Silink. Okay. Max. So what does that mean? Okay. So Wanda Silhouette. So by going into these things, we get data that we pass on to Homer that then expands the story. So we'll just go through this pretty quick. Randivore, which is Peter's father or mother. No, father. Okay. Okay. Ooh, finally, something in Silink. User DNA, blah, 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 blah. Silink is a prescribed database. Unauthorized entry is forbidden. Enter DNA code. Silink reports reality quotient shift relative user query as follows. Keyword family, keyword evoked potential. Silink flags keyword concatenation in current sequence as reverse earlier query other user blah blah blah, which resulted in no RQ shift. Family evoked potential suggests possible basic research direction regarding mathematical manipulation of psychic space. Let's go back through that again. Relative user query as follows. Family and evoked potential. Silink flags keyword concatenation in current sequence as reverse earlier query from another user, which resulted in no RQ shift. Family evoked potential suggests possible basic research direction regarding mathematical manipulation of psychic space. Okay. Basically, because he was in this system, he looked up those two keywords trying to make a correlation. It basically caused the AI to go, oh, well, he wants to find out how to do psi stuff. It makes sense in my head. All right. I have got to get ready to go to work. So